good evening to you. I hope you've had a fantastic Saturday so far, and welcome to TV47 Weekend with me, Muthoni Maina.
And with me, Stanley Nyerungita. It is the 17th day of September 2022, and tonight we'll be having the whole spirit of Amapiano once again. Last week we had King of Amapiano.
Yeah, Cartoon 47, and tonight we're going to have DJ Chichi, the Queen of Amapiano, all the way from South Africa.
And she has landed today in Kenya, and definitely I hope she doesn't have too much of the jet lag to have this particular interaction with us right here at TV47 Weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Do interact with us at TV47KE across all social media platforms. Our sign language interpreter for tonight is Catherine Simaloy. But first, let's take a look at tonight's top stories.
Indeed.
Tonight, Azimio and Kenya Kwanza front names for House leadership.
At the level of the National Assembly, we announce the leader of majority as Honorable Opiyo Wandayi.
As the battle for House majority wages.
Because we recognize we are down by only one senator.
Anne Waiguru, the new boss at the Council of Governors, in yet another numerical flex for the Kenya Kwanza faction.
Close to 400,000 people going to bed in an empty stomach tonight as a drought ravages the 4 counties in the northeastern region.
Welcome to the bulletin. Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya has nominated Ugunja Member of Parliament Opiyo Wandayi as the leader of the majority in the National Assembly.
And as Limuki reports, Azimio leadership has maintained that they are the majority in the National Assembly despite losing some of its members to President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza.
After 2 days of deliberations in Machakos County, the Azimio One Kenya coalition has settled on their desired leaders in the parliament. Despite the Azimio coalition constituting of over 20 parties, only ODM, Wiper and Jubilee parties' leaders were fronted to for positions at the parliament. At the National Assembly, they have settled on Ugunja Member of Parliament Opiyo Wandayi as the majority leader and will be deputized by Skadiani counterpart Robert Mboi. Suna East MP Junet Mohamed has been appointed the coalition's chief majority whip and will be deputized by nominated MP Sabina Chege.
Azimio Oka is legally and legitimately the majority coalition in the National Assembly. This is not a matter for determination by any individual or office. It is simple arithmetic.
In the Senate, the coalition has appointed Kilifi Senator Stewart Madzayo as Senate Minority Leader and will be deputized by Kitui Senator Enoch Wambua. Isiolo's Senator Fatuma Dulo has been appointed the Minority Whip and will be deputized by a Nairobi counterpart Edwin Sifuna. In the Parliamentary Service Commission, Sirisia Member of Parliament John Waluke of Jubilee Party and Mavoko's Patrick Makau have been fronted to battle for the leadership of that commission. Earlier on, Azimio la Umoja affiliate parties failed to reach an agreement with Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, insisting that the position of the Senate minority should be given to a member of his party.
So if you do not bond and become united, you're going to be ruled throughout the life of this parliament.
As the battle for House majority wages, the coalition is banking on its numerical strength in the parliament to win majority leader and whip positions. Legally, according to the Political Parties Act, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party has an upper hand.
We are the largest party in Parliament. We therefore deserve to have the majority leader and the majority whip.
However, the ruling Kenya Kwanza Alliance has gone ahead to lure members of the Azimio-affiliated party into its corner as well as some independents. The early telltale signs of this poaching were the rallying of Moses Wetangula to the leadership of the National Assembly. Flora Limuki, TV47.
Thank you, Limuki, for that intriguing parliamentary leadership report. Now, a fresh row is brewing between the Azimio and Kenya Kwanza factions, this time over the fate of the 4 IEBC commissioners who distanced themselves from the presidential election.
While the National Assembly has begun processing 2 petitions calling for the ouster of the 4, the Azimio wing says it will do everything to protect them. Chepto Boyd now reports.
The move by President William Ruto's affiliated Farmers Party to officially file a petition seeking the removal of the 4 IEBC commissioners who walked out of the Bomas of Kenya has become the latest political dog whistle, with the Azimio La Umoja wing now threatening to initiate the disbandment of the entire commission if any of the 4 commissioners is fired. While relying on the September 5th Supreme Court decision that seemingly vindicted IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati, the petitioners claimed that the actions of the Vice Chair Juliana Cherera and Commissioners Irene Masit, Francis Wanderi and Justice Nyangaya had the potential to cause anarchy and a breakdown of the constitution while subverting the will of the people. Odinga has now stated that the Azimio coalition will do everything to protect the commissioners who, according to them, stood firm in their quest for a free and credible election.
We totally condemn this brazen act of witch hunt and demand that the President and his agents leave those officers alone. On our part, we commit to do whatever it takes to protect those officers from any attempts to infringe their basic rights.
This comes amid looming confusion over the transition in the commission, with the chair Wafula Chebukati and Commissioners Abdi Guli and Boya Mulu set to proceed on a 3-month terminal leave next month before retiring by January 18th. This means the commission will hand over the running of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC to Vice Chairperson Juliana Cherera and Commissioners Irene Masit, Francis Wanderi and Justice Nyangaya. However, details have emerged of external forces pushing for Chebukati to stay put until the 4 commissioners are kicked out. The warning comes as the Azimio wing says it is not interested with jobs in the government, as they are fired up to ensure the government is on its toes while pushing for the reforms in institutions like the IEBC.
Let it be known to all and sundry, the leaders in Azimio Oka are not interested in any jobs whatsoever from the executive. We already have a lot of work to do, as we have demonstrated even this afternoon, keeping the executive under check.
They have at the same time castigated President Ruto's administration, saying that they have started on the wrong footing on almost every front by removing subsidies and channeling them to production.
Most painful to the ordinary Kenyan is the declaration that Kenya Kwanza will not subsidize consumption, but to channel subsidies to production. What a quick about turn against the ordinary Kenyan struggling to afford a basic meal a day. A government that can't feed our people has no business being in office.
Chepto Boyd, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you for that, Chepto Boyd. Now, the Council of Governors 3-day conference came to a conclusion this evening, with the governors electing their leaders for the council, as Anne Waiguru has been chosen the chair of the council in yet another numerical flex by Kenya Kwanza.
Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru is the new chairperson of the Council of Governors following her election during the Governors Induction Conference in Mombasa. Waiguru emerged victorious after beating Kajiado Governor Joseph Ole Lenku, with Wajir Governor Ahmed Abdullahi elected as the vice chair.
Profoundly humbled, honored and privileged to be entrusted with this role at a critical time when we have just ushered in the 3rd generation of county governments. The responsibility bestowed upon me is no mean feat, but I am equal to the task.
We want to work together to foster devolution and safeguard and enhance its place in the governance.
Azimio La Umoja One Kenya affiliated governors had a slightly higher representation in the council, but negotiations saw Waiguru of Kenya Kwanza being picked as the C.O.G chairperson over Kajiado's Joseph Ole Lenku, who had been fronted by Azimio. Other elected chairperson of various subcommittees and the whip include Mudhoni Njuki for health, Andrew Mwadime for water, Professor Nyang' Nyong'o for land, Mutula Kilonzo Jr. for legal, and Kericho's Eric Mutai for education. Addressing the conference on behalf of President William Ruto, the Speaker of the National Assembly Moses Wetangula said the national government will prioritize devolution.
Devolution is truly the gift to the people of Kenya. And you as the midwives and the champions, we encourage you and urge you to ensure that it becomes the engine of our economic growth. It becomes the cornerstone of creation of jobs, particularly in rural areas. And above all, it becomes part and parcel of our intergovernmental engagement to see that public resources are not expended in a duplex manner, and the national government, as you have heard from His Excellency's statement, will unbundle all the pending devolution functions with attendant resources down to the counties. On my part, any legislation that requires to enhance the strength and success of devolution, I assure you, you can count on me and my counterpart in the Senate, who has been one of your own Governor, Amason Kingi. We are going to be facilitators and not an impediment to the enhancement of devolution.
The council is set to, among other things, offer a collective voice of policy issues, promote inter-county consultations, encourage and initiate information sharing on the performance of the county government with regard to the execution of their functions, and collective consultation on matters of interest to the county governments. Reporting for TV47, I'm Lucky Heriano.
Now, after Northeastern, as tonight, over 378,000 people are probably going to bed with empty stomachs due to the ravages of the ongoing drought situation in the Northeastern region.
Now, the 4 counties of the region are in a dire situation after 4 seasons of rainfall failed.
A trail of carcasses is what welcomes one to Garissa as the pastoralist community tries fruitlessly to salvage their lives and livelihoods, that is, livestock, due to the ongoing drought situation. At the moment, according to the Kenya Red Cross, over 378,000 people in the 4 counties of the Northeastern region are facing extreme hunger, with the numbers rising daily.
So far, we have a population of 378 households affected in Garissa. That forms 45% of the total population of the Garissa County.
A spot check in most parts of the county revealed an extremely dire situation of water scarcity and worsening rates of malnutrition. This is caused by the failure of rainfall in 4 consecutive seasons.
This is the fourth season the rains failed in Garissa County, and according to also the meteorology report for September, we are getting that the probability of failed rains is at a chance of 65% rain below average.
Governors from the region who were in Mombasa on Friday for their retreat asked for help and a fast response to the prevailing drought.
They are afraid millions of livestock are facing starvation and therefore possibly will all perish. There is serious malnutrition rates across the counties, and cases of pregnant and lactating mothers malnourished and in urgent need of treatment and nutritional support.
The residents have also joined in the cry for help, asking the national and county governments to intervene and alleviate their suffering.
Right, to something else now, and congregants at St. Philip's, Narumoru, Nyeri County have today eulogized the late Queen Elizabeth II as a role model and a staunch Christian.
The church where the Queen visited back in 1952 has also prayed for King Charles III as he takes up the new role. This even as the United Kingdom is preparing for the state burial on Monday.
As the world mourns the death of Queen Elizabeth II, congregants of St. Philip's, Narumoru, in Nyeri County, have eulogized her as a steadfast and staunch Christian, one with a witty humor.
When walking the grounds of Balmoral, her protection officer, Queen Elizabeth, ran into some American tourists. It became clear that they didn't recognise her. "Have you ever met the Queen?" they asked. "No," she responded, and then pointed at her protection officer. "But he has." Then they continued their conversation and posed for pictures with the tourists, without even letting on who she was.
The death of the Queen brought back memories of the extraordinary circumstances in which she became the sovereign just over 70 years ago when she visited the treetops in 1952.
We thank you for gracing her with the ability to wholeheartedly serve the United Kingdom as Queen for 70 years, with devotion, steadfastness and humility.
After the demise of the Queen on the 8th of September this year, King Charles III ascended to power. The congregants took time today to pray for his reign, even as he mourns the death of his mother.
Father, we pray a particular blessing for King Charles III, that you would strengthen and sustain him while he processes his personal loss, but also the crown that has now passed to him.
According to UK High Commission representative Brigadier Ronnie Westerman, the norms of the United Kingdom will have to change with time in the new reign of King Charles.
Just throughout our service, we have the word Queen throughout. We have Queen's regulations, we have Queen's regiments, we serve our Queen and country. So changing that to a King will be make us think about what that means. And so that's been in time to just realise that that's important for us because of what she has given as an example, what she has taught by the way that she's lived and by the way that she's served others.
Meanwhile, many have braved the cold temperatures in central London so that they can pay their last respects to the Queen, who is lying in state in the Palace of Westminster from Wednesday. Her Majesty will be laid to rest on Monday, the 19th of September 2022, inside St. George's Chapel, next to her husband, Prince Philip, in protocols that are deep-rooted in the monarch history.
Moving on, the race is on for the House leadership slots, with both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza boasting of the majority in both houses of Parliament.
Paul Kirobi now reports of intense lobbying ahead of the induction exercise on Sunday.
It is a meeting that brought together lawmakers under the umbrella of Kenya Kwanza in Naivasha, whose aim was to fill key top leadership positions at the National Assembly and the Senate. After 48 hours of deliberations, Kenya Kwanza Coalition has picked Kikuyu MP Kimani Ichung'wah as the National Assembly Majority Leader, with South Mugirango MP Silvana Sosoro being fronted as the Majority Whip. Kilifi North MP Owen Baya will be the Deputy Leader of Majority. Marsabit County Woman Member of National Assembly Naomi Wako will deputize Osoro. At the Senate, Kericho Senator Aaron Cheruiyot will take up the position of Majority Leader. Cheruiyot will be deputized by Nakuru Senator Tabitha Karanja. Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale will occupy the Majority Whip position, with Samburu Senator Stephen Delegwe as his deputy. The unveiling of Kenya Kwanza parliamentary leadership comes just after Azimio announced its House leadership lineup. Both political formations claim to have the majority in both the National Assembly and the Senate. The President urging Kenya Kwanza MPs to diligently perform their functions for the benefit of Kenyans.
1 million Kenyans run the risk of being destitute because of illness. And that is why it is necessary for us to urgently reform the NHIF and roll out our universal health coverage plan, which we sold to the people of Kenya, and that is why they elected us.
Paul Kirobi, TV47.
Right now to some education matters, and the Kenya Private Schools Association has welcomed President William Ruto's idea of the formation of a task force to collect views on the competency-based curriculum.
The association is warning parents to be wary of a few selfish individuals who are out to benefit if the new curriculum collapses.
As the new competency-based curriculum continued to raise mixed reactions from homes, schools to the political circles, private schools have now joined those pushing for the strengthening of the new education system, saying those pushing for its scrapping are engaging in spreading falsehoods and whipping up emotions intended to incite the public against CBC as they stand to benefit the most.
An aggressive campaign has been launched against CBC with a child watching helplessly. 3, that there is a vain attempt to mislead the public on the nature of the CBC curriculum and what CBC stands for.
The Kenya Private Schools Association Vice Chair Solomon Munene says learning should be at the center of the approach as they are the ones who will be most affected by any decision. They want the task force to be set up by the president to put the interest of the Kenyan child first.
We in private schools are in full support of the presidential task force on education reforms. We want to bring together all the ideas and we address the issues that could be surrounding the CBC. We also want to appreciate that the president did not condemn CBC.
The new curriculum has been met with mixed reactions, with those against it saying it is not only expensive but also time-consuming and tasking on parents. Those in support say CBC should be the key to the unemployment crisis in the country, as it equips learners with hands-on skills to solve real problems as the country prepares to be a productive economy.
I believe the future of education should be more practical. And I disagree with many people who are saying we scrap the CBC. I think the best thing we can do is put in resources so that the implementation of CBC can be more practical.
President William Ruto in his inauguration promised to come up with a task force to collect views on CBC and will give a way forward before the end of the year. Paul Munio, TV 47.
Now on to an unfortunate incident as a family in Kanam Kemer area in Turkana County is mourning the death of their 13-year-old son who died Friday under unclear circumstances.
It is said that the deceased committed suicide after an altercation with his mother over his school performance. Peter Sotare with the details.
Kwa hivyo aliondoka na kwenda nyumbani na tulisikitika kupata taarifa ya kifo chake.
A cloud of grief has engulfed the homestead of Dorcas Senior, the mother to the deceased, who is yet to come to terms with her loss. Trouble is said to have started when the mother scolded the boy for failing his end of second-term exam and afterwards left, only to later on receive the devastating news that his son had allegedly taken his own life.
Janangu anaitwa Alan Kipkoech. Anasoma Amoni Academy. Jana walifunga shule akakuja. Sasa kunionyesha report card yake. Sasa nikaona marks iko chini, nikauliza kwa nini umerudi chini na ulipanga mbele. Takana next time ongeze marks. Hivyo tu naye akaingia kwa nyumba. Ndio mimi nikatoka kaenda kwa mama msasi. Nilipokaa huko karibu nusu saa, watoto wengine wakakimbia ndio wakaniambia Alan amejinyonga.
Sylvia Apua, a neighbor who was among the first responders, says she was alarmed by noises from the deceased, and upon arrival she found the horrific scene.
Sikia nduru ikipigwa. Nikasema ni nini iko kwa SIGNET. Nikauliza tena ya pili, ni nini iko? Kidogo. Nikaona watu wakikimbia. Mimi na nikakimbia. Kwa kutana watu hapo kwa mlango. Akasema ati Alan amejinyonga. Nilikuwa nafuatana na mama mwingine alikuwa mbele yangu. Na kwa speed mimi na nikaingia ndani. Hiyo mama nikaingia ndani. Sasa vile niliona tu mtoto ameninginia, nimejifungana leso kwa shingo. Amesha kufa tayari. Nikaona tu vile tu yani mimi tulikutana macho yangu nikakutana tu ulimi nje na makojoa amesha kufa amekojikojelea. Nikatoka mbio. Kidogo nikakutana na mama yake kwa mlango hapa akitokezea. Nikasema Dorcas ulikuwa wapi mtoto akinyonga na watu nyana kwanga hapa mingi.
His kin say their pleas for him to open the door fell on deaf ears, not knowing that their brother was no more.
Alina alikuwa amejifungia hapo kwa nyumba. Medrina akakuja akasema Kibet huyo mwingine akakuja akasema Alina amejifungia kwa nyumba. Mimi nikakuja nikafunja hapo kiboko. Ilikuwa sasa niende nimwambie afungue nyumba ama nimchape. Kumbe alikuwa ashaji yangu. Kaambia huyo mtoto mwingine mdogo tena aruke mlango. Akaruka sasa venye aliruka akaingia kafungua, mimi ndo nilikuwa kwanza kuingia hapo hivyo. Ndio nikapata ameshaji yangu ameshakufa.
Following the increased reports of children taking their own lives, Central Turkana Police Commander Matthew Ndogo has advised parents to find alternative methods of dealing with their children's failure in school instead of yelling at them. Reporting for TV47, my name is Beatrice Watari.
I thank you, Beatrice Watari. Right? Quite an unfortunate incident right there.
Yeah.
Right now, for almost 17 years now, the larger Baringo area have been grappling with insecurity fueled by consistent banditry attacks that have led to loss of lives and property.
Our reporter Elizabeth Atieno has the story of Paul Kipiemat, who escaped death by a whisker after bandits attacked his hotel early last month.
In Barkaren village, Baringo County, we meet Paul Kipiemat clearing his compound. Kipiemat is a victim of frequent banditry attacks witnessed in Baringo County since 2005, where he lost his elder brother Daniel Cheburet, who was shot and killed by suspected bandits.
Hiyo situation ilikuwa imekuwa worst kabisa. Ungeweza kwenda hata 100 meters kila dakika risasi kila mahali.
In 2013, Kipiemat relocated to Kasela village in search of peace and sanity. He was fortunate to improve on his life, making him one of the richest men in the village. However, things took an ugly turn in August this year after bandits attacked his hotel and killed 7 people on the spot.
Hiyo siku ni siku yenye sitawahi sahau kwa maisha yangu, sababu ilikuwa inaelekea masaa ya saa 4 saa 5 hapo. So hao majangili wakawasili wakaanza kutusingira kwa hiyo hoteli na watoto walikuwa wamejaa. So wale vendors wenye walikuwa wananiletea maziwa wakaanza kupigwa risasi, saa ile walikaribia karibu hoteli yangu. Wakaangushwa hapo mpaka hata na wengine wanakuja kuangukia kwa milango na mimi niko ndani ya nyumba. Saa ile milango ya 3 inakaribia ndio ifike yangu, nikaamua nikasema ile kifo nitakufa ndani na ile yenye nitakufa nje hakuna tofauti, nikaamua kuchomoka. So katika ile hali ya kuchomoka, marisasi ndio hiyo wakanikimbisha mpaka tu ilikuwa kwa uwezo yake Mungu. Hiyo marisasi haikuweza kunipata. So hao wenzangu 7 wakaenda namna hiyo.
And just like that, Kipiemat and his family fell from grace to grass and relocated to Barkaren village. Life has proven to be difficult each passing day as they have been forced to depend on relief food, a situation greatly affecting his 5 children.
Sisi tulikuja tukasambaratika, watoto hata watoto wangu wenyewe hawakukuwa najua hata maneno ya kukula mboga ni nini. Tulikuwa na mali yetu, tulikuwa na kila kitu, watoto walikuwa nakunywa maziwa. Hiyo area, hiyo vitu mboga sisi tulikuwa nasikianga tu kama history.
Since 2005, over 300 lives and property of unknown value, including thousands of livestock, have been lost in the Baringo banditry attacks. Villagers from Sinoni, Arabal, Kasiela and Kapinda Sum have been displaced and